We're live. Hello. Happy Wonderland Wednesday. I cannot believe it. We are smack dab in the middle of the week, and what a week it's been. Is anyone else there going a little crazy? I hope you guys are holding up and hanging in okay. I know that it's been a lot this week with all the fires on the West Coast and everything that is happening. I know a lot of people have been under a lot of pressure, and so I just want you to know this is like, I wanted to be outside today because first of all, we can kind of see the sky today, which is exciting. But second of all, this little sunshine is my little ray of sunshine that I am beaming out at you. So I hope you feel the ray, and I hope you're down with the ray. Oh, Jeff, I know it has been a tough 6 months. But the good news is we have Mike Hollingsworth coming to talk to us today. Mike is not only an all-around cool guy, but he's been working in animation for over a decade. Supervising director on BoJack Horseman. He was supervising director on Tuca and Bertie, and he's working on a brand new show right now called Inside Job. So let's see what he can tell us about the show. And accidentally take a screenshot, and then let's see. I see. Are you still on here? Okay, there he is. Mike, I'm adding you now. And hopefully, how's my sound today? I'm trying out these glorious headphones. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear
I can
me?
hear you. Yes, you're coming in loud and clear.
I'm trying to figure out a place to put my phone so that it's not shooting right up my nose.
That's a good look.
Maybe I could plug it in through this bug swatter.
You know, whatever works. It's kind of an improvised world out here. My husband helped me set up my tripod because we're missing various pieces of it. So it's like one piece from this and like the tripod from something completely different, but whatever works.
Yeah, whatever works.
It's good to see your face.
Thank you kindly. Right back at you. I love beautiful sunny wall.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like you painted a cartoon wall on there. I hope no coyotes have tried to run through it anytime.
It's the best way to get rid of them. We just stand out here with a bow and arrow. We're like, come on, coyotes. We're going to get you.
All right, I'm giving up on charging this. Could I just charge it and turn it upside down? It'll correct it, right? Or I could do the whole interview upside down. Does that look? I'm upside down. It's like a playing card.
We're just like, I'm the ace and you're like the bottom part.
Yeah.
I don't know how this works. Yeah. It's kind of trippy, actually.
I know.
I
invented it.
What if I go like this? But that's a really good look. Yeah, you might have to flip it around or do the whole interview upside down. It's great.
It's like I have always lived my life like the Joker, the one in the deck of cards, not the sad one from movies. And now here I am, like the Joker on a playing card.
See, a life achievement unlocked.
Unless how is this affecting you, Alicyn? Is this going to make you throw up or something? Are you tilting your head because of me being upside down?
I want to check in with the audience, guys. Send me a vote. Let me know. Do you like Mike upside down? Is that going to be distracting as he talks about?
But that's not fair.
His life.
If you throw it to the audience, they're going to give them a choice. They're going to say, just throw them off the whole damn show, all the way.
I kind of like now what you're kind of to the side. What was that?
Like this?
Yeah, it was like you were like kind of to the side. All right, well, let's proceed then. Let's proceed. So is this your home office space?
Yeah, this has become my home, kind of where we're making, this is where I'm making TV shows.
Wow.
Here in my converted laundry room.
Okay, so It's also a library.
Yes, it's filled with animation books, a bunch of nonsense. But there was a silly thing about working from home. I actually we brought a nanny back into the house. I have a 4 year
Yeah.
old, and she's from Michigan. She's 21 years old or something, and
Wow.
yeah. So and we've told her vaguely that we make cartoons, make TV shows, and then she was romping around the house with my son, and I was in the closet, uh, yelling, acting, yelling, doing all this temp audio for this animatic. And then I
Uh-huh.
popped out of the closet, and she was kind of right there, and she was looking at me, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, I was recording for this show that I'm working on, temp audio, for a TV show." And she said, "In the closet?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, we just hop into the closet to do temp audio sometimes." And she's like, "And this is for a TV show?" And I was like, "Well, not in the end. It's temp, but."
I
But
guess
yeah,
it depends what you were yelling, right?
yeah, it was. I mean, the show I'm working on now, Inside Job, which comes out in 2020, 2021, maybe October, maybe around a year from now, or maybe
Uh-huh.
sooner. But yes, it is certainly an adult show, and
Certainly. Not just an adult show, but certainly adult.
it is certainly an adult show. There's lots of swears.
Okay.
It's a whole new. Netflix has no S&P, so you can swear up a storm all you
That's
want.
fucking awesome.
Exactly. I guess Instagram has no S&P
No.
either. But yeah, so it is a kind of a. I also was a supervising director of the Tuca and Bertie,
Mm-hmm.
and
I
which is
love that
another
show.
Netflix show that was canceled by Netflix and then just got picked up by Adult Swim. But
Oh,
that yeah, it was picked up by Adult Swim, which is great. I
are they
won't
going
be
to make
working
more?
on it. They're making another season, which is terrific.
That's
It
great.
is effectively now the first female created show on Adult Swim. A
That took a
very
while.
very kind of broy place for
Hmm.
content. Um, it was working for them, I suppose, but maybe not for society, or it was working for them while society was still broy during those Barack Obama years when everybody was broing out. But now that it's a kinder, gentler time under Donald
Yeah.
Trump, where everybody's a little bit more sensitive, that just wasn't flying anymore. So they finally brought
Yeah.
in a female creator.
The time was up. It
The
was up.
time um,
Ding, ding, ding.
but yes, thank you for having me on your Upside Down show.
You're so welcome. I
And
am.
and you fancy yourself like the Alice in Wonderland of this show, right? Like
Yes,
there's an Alice in Wonderland vibe going on in the show.
there
So it
is.
kind of makes sense that I'm upside down.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
gone through the looking glass, and we're like one of the playing cards
Whoa, but
in
that's kind
Alice
of
in
weird.
Wonderlands.
Like, what's going on with this though? Like, I've got my arm in your neck. It's like we've merged, and now you're like your
You can
chest is like my
like
body.
you can move your hand and play me like a puppet.
I guess. Hey, my name's Mike Hollingsworth. I like to put things in my, never mind. Um, we won't go there.
Wait.
So
When you say we won't go there,
we
it
might,
makes it
we
sound
might
like
go
there's a
there.
place. No, you make it sound like there was a place to go, but you're like, no, I know something about Mike, but I won't share it with the audience.
That's actually
There's
the
nothing
sixth,
there.
sixth
We won't
question.
we won't go there because there's nothing there.
Trust me, trust me. So wait, I want to hear more about Inside Job though, because the premise sounds really interesting, especially for today's um,
Yeah.
climate.
Yes, yeah. Inside Job is a show that I'm an executive producer on for Netflix. It's Netflix's first in-house animated adult show. And Netflix has opened up they were in the process of opening up a giant animation studio in Hollywood before COVID hit. Now we're
Oh,
all working from home. So there's a big giant brand new studio just sitting there on Vine and Melrose. Um, but yeah, Inside Job is a show about a secret branch of the United States government that manages and runs all of like the shadow government, like all conspiracies. Like they're the ones who faked the moon landing. Like uh, the Mothman works there, Slender Man works there. Like all of this kind of stuff. And yeah, it's a great show for the times. It's about it's political without being too specific, but it touches on all of these conspiracy theories and all of these kind of themes that are so prevalent in society at this point. Like right wing types. Like
do
it
you
doesn't
get
get into
real? I mean,
Pizzagate,
how
but
into it? Yeah. Do you hit up Pizzagate or?
no, they don't hit up Pizzagate. But in a
Yeah.
world where people are so obsessed with Pizzagate that they're running around shooting up Washington D.C., it's a fun show. Um,
You get to play within that world.
yes, you get to play within that world. It's definitely it's a show for adults. It's a female created show. It's created by Shion Takeuchi, who was previously a writer on Disenchantment and um, Gravity Falls,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just to name a few things. And it's a beautiful show. It's really kind of like Netflix's really big swing right out of the box. Like, I'm not, it's not a spoiler to say, but each one of these episodes looks like a feature. It just is a lush show with, about really cool things like technology, monsters, mythical creatures, and
Mm-hmm.
aliens, and all this crazy stuff. So, um, yeah, it's a fun thing. It's a fun show, and I look forward to everybody checking it out when it
And
eventually comes out. It seems like we're living the same day over and over again at this point, and time has just stopped. But
oh,
are
this
you
is so
upside
much
down
better.
too?
Okay, now I'm turning myself upside down to see. Okay. Yeah, maybe now I can make eye contact with you. I think that's better. I definitely can't read anybody's comments though, because I can't really read upside down.
Well, I mean, I could turn my thing back around.
I think it's time. I think it's
It's
time.
time. Are you
It's
trying to tell
time.
me something that I sometimes have a problem with? Are you telling me the joke is over? I'm not always great at
Um,
when the joke is over.
just keep going with it like a dead horse. Just beat that horse, you know?
Like, did BoJack?
Should we take
uh,
it back around?
Take it
Should
back
we head over
around
there? To
to,
BoJack?
yeah, to BoJack.
BoJack?
Yeah,
So yeah, so you're the supervising director on that show. Do you supervise the directors? What?
yeah. It was a title that continually changed. Everything
Hmm.
is amoebus. What is that word? Uh, just kind of shifting and everything. Like on season one of BoJack, I was a supervising director, and I was like getting in there and fixing every single storyboard file and fixing every single character file and drawing over every single background and just really keeping everything on the track. And then by season six,
Meanwhile, everybody's like, "Why are you drawing on my file?"
on season six, when I was still a supervising director, but at that point I was also co-EP, and I
Hmm.
really like we had so much crew retention, that by that time, uh, I and the whole crew really knew how to make the show and how everything was made, and so we didn't. So I was doing more producer stuff, like just sitting in so many meetings and like sitting in meetings where I was approving Funko Pop designs of BoJack and the characters, rather than like going through the file. Reviewed every scene file, but the directors had all been directing for so many seasons that the show was not on autopilot, but was running far more smoothly. But yeah, in the essence, the supervising director, I was a director of directors, and I was just kind of overseeing the whole process of the art side. Raphael, the creator, was the showrunner and was overseeing all of the writing, all of the casting, and dealing with the voice with the cast, and our side, the whole script bringing design thing. You will.
And you also did some voices for the show, correct?
I did.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was a fun thing. I mean, I feel like I never went to college for animation. I did stand up, and I feel like my whole life I've been a phony that is just. But meanwhile, like I'm totally capable or everything, but I just maybe always have imposter syndrome because I never went to college. I went from doing stand up to running a animated show.
That's like, so lucky.
Out of those two skill sets.
Yeah.
But part of that, I do feel like I've always kind of like been kind of like a grifter. And I use people to come over to their house to swim in their pool sometimes. But part of that was I would write a ton of jokes and put a ton of material into BoJack. And I would do so after all the voice actors had recorded their lines and they'd already done their sessions. So I would put jokes in, all this kind of like downbeat stuff, like scene resets, and I would but the voice actors were already done, and I would go in and do my voices across the street in the sound booth, pull and record me across the street so I could do this line, and they're like, "Can you just do it in their phone and send it to me?" I was like, but I had this grift where I was like, I want the sound, I want my voiceover to be of good quality, and then I was very nice to the editors. The editors are your good friends, and you should be kind to them because they can really help you out. I would tell the editors, like, just let this temp just keep cruising through. Like, don't say anything about just if they ask you about it, something Mike put in here. But if they don't ask you about it, just let it cruise through. And basically, I would grift my way into another paycheck of pulling down VO on these episodes. And then once one of my VOs went through, then you know how they got you for free, as you know.
3 voices, yeah. So just to explain to our listeners, the way it works for animated television on a SAG contract, once you are hired to do 1 voice, you can do up to 3 voices for the same price. So that's why vocal versatility is great. And so you'd go in for 1 voice, and then they would
not have. I am not very good at vocal versatility. Once I got 1, they would throw me 2 other extras.
Oh, but you're funny. So you wrote the words, so it's kind of like stand up, you know?
I was and somehow this is completely separate, but somehow I always managed to end up doing old ladies.
Can we hear your old lady?
I mean, it kind of sounds like this voice. The voice,
it's just your voice.
No, I mean, I guess I would talk like this. I'm terrible.
Oh wow! Yeah, it's real good.
A little story for you.
Right.
Yeah, you do it.
Here.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, my name's Granny T-Rebel. This is a bit of a broad character, but I can tell you all about my life. So come here, Sonny, and sit on my lap.
Pervy grandma?
Mine. Those are the best kind of grandmas. Pervy.
There's just so many of them out there.
What I was one of my early VO riffs was because I'm not a professional VO artist. Uh, I um, I was doing a show, Trip Tank, which was a
Yep.
comedy show with a like a animated sketch show, and I they wanted to cast uh, the casting agent who you probably know. I forget, Ivy Eisenberg.
Ivy Eisenberg. Mm-hmm.
She wanted to, or she was going to cast this character. It was like this homeless character in this cartoon I was doing, and I was like, I'm just going to do it because I just want to pull another check. And I did a good job, but I'm a novice, and I came in and I started recording it, and I started too big and too fast. And in the record, and I had there was a professional sound engineer in there recording me.
Who was
And
directing?
I guess I was directing myself.
That's tough.
It might have been Scout Raskin. I don't know if you ever
Oh,
worked.
of course I did.
He's
Yeah.
fantastic. He was in charge of that whole show.
Okay.
But I went too hot and too fast and didn't warm, and I was doing a really gravelly voice, and I immediately gave myself hiccups.
No.
On that, like you could get, I was being too gravelly. I was going too low and being loud, and I gave myself hiccups. And so basically, I had to deal with, I still needed to record this thing, and the sound engineer was there. We couldn't say, like, can you come back in a couple hours? And I needed the audio, so I just had to push through. And I was having so much trouble because I kept hiccuping in the middle of every take. But
Was this your granny, or was this a different character?
Just like a gravelly sounding homeless man.
Okay. So could it work with the character?
Well, yes, they hiccup, but you want them to hiccup like at funny spots, not in the middle of every word, unless that was the character. No, it didn't. I mean, I was just so mortified, embarrassed at how I'm like, wow, it is very evident that I am not a professional voiceover actor. But eventually because I had to record, it was like a 5-minute sketch or something. So I had a lot of lines to go through, and eventually I found a rhythm that I would hiccup through through the first 2 takes, and then I'd get it in the third take. I could get my third take, I could get it cleanly. It was just a very weird kind of situation. I lost my ring light, my Instagram. I've been using, in all of these Zooms, I found if you put the Google homepage up on your big screen, it serves as one of those.
As your light?
Yeah, like, which is a big white thing that just says Google.
But then can you see people, or do you have multiple monitors?
If I slide it down, it's gone, and here's me with my white Google homepage. No Google Google homepage.
Yeah, I'm kind of losing my light here, but I have some light as well.
Yeah. Right behind you.
So that was a major embarrassing moment. For anybody that's just tuning in, we're here with Mike Hollingsworth. Mike works in animation. He's working on a new show for Netflix called Inside Job. And he also worked for Tuca and Bertie and on BoJack Horseman as the supervising director. So for anybody that's just tuning in.
Our BoJack super fan just joined us. BoJack.
Oh, yeah? BoJack Hidden Jokes. Are you sure that's not an account run by you?
No, I mean, I'm disturbing, but I don't go that deep. I don't put in that much effort. But yeah.
What's up, BoJack Hidden Jokes? Woo woo.
She's where we get all of our BoJack info. She knows about what the news of the show before we do. We were just we were on the Netflix celebration of our Emmy. We were talking about how we would figure out if and when we won an Emmy this Saturday, and we were all talking about that you would know before all of us if we actually won. Because it's like the creative art Emmys, and nobody's going this year, you know.
Yeah.
But we're still
unfortunately.
We find out on Saturday, and we figure you'll know first, BoJack Hidden Joke.
Oh, break a leg.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for checking it out. Um, that's so exciting. What category are you guys nominated in?
Best documentary series.
Hmm. Yeah. What's the competition on that one?
Did you set me up for that joke?
Yeah. You're welcome.
No, we're best animated show.
Okay.
So no,
Yeah.
no voiceover nominees,
No?
nominations this year. It's all The Simpsons.
Well,
How many Emmys do they need? We get it.
I
It's
think
a,
they just won their first Emmy. Was it last year?
I don't think so. For what? For show? They beat
For
us.
sh- they beat you, yeah, for show. But have you guys won Best Animated Show yet? I thought,
We've never won an Emmy. We've won several. We've won 3 or 4 Critics' Choice Awards.
ah,
That's a fun award show because everybody goes to it because it's the critics, even though it's kind of like, I mean, I have so much fun. For me, it's an amazing time. But for them, it must be a pretty low rent award show. You know what I mean? For the celebrities. But they all
uh-huh.
could kind of honor and put in FaceTime with the critics. But it's so amazing who goes to that award show. Like I saw Tanya Harding there. Like
Oh,
Tanya was nominated.
Tanya. Mm-hmm.
Tanya Harding was there, and like I saw Sully Sullenberg there, the guy who landed the plane on the river. Like if Sully movie came out,
I love
well,
that these are the two people that you most want to tell everybody that you saw at the Critics' Choice Awards.
it's such weird celebrity sightings.
Yeah,
I
that's amazing.
there. I went there with Lisa Hannawalt, who was my partner
Mm-hmm.
on BoJack. She was a designer and my buddy for so many seasons, and she was my date to the Critics' Choice Awards. Not really, but for the sake of the story. And I didn't know like what to wear. I made the mistake of Googling Critics' Choice Awards because I didn't have a nice black suit that fit me. So I
Uh-huh.
Googled the award show and I saw that people wore mixed match suits and all kinds of crazy stuff there. So I was like, oh great, I'll put together a mixed match suit.
Yeah.
And I got there and I realized those are the celebrities who have been mixed match suits. And those are about 1% of the people who are there. 90% of the people there who are the critics, agents, showbiz, stuffy people. And they are all wearing just black tuxes. So
Mm.
I really, so for myself, stood out. I felt very awkward. But maybe I just felt awkward. Maybe, nobody's looking at you.
Maybe you look cool.
But then Lisa and I were in the security line right behind Hugh Grant, the famous movie actor,
Heard of him, yeah. Sure.
talking to his date that he probably picked up on the side of the road on the way to the show.
I'm sure.
And
Hey.
he
You got a dress?
he turned and he looked at me in my mismatched suit, and then he did a double take and looked at me again and turned and addressed me, and he said, I almost wore the same thing tonight. Last night I laid out on my bed and in order to be ready to go for today's ceremony. But then when it came time to get dressed, I said, you know what, Hugh, you're just not brave enough to wear, but here you are, and you are brave enough. And then he just turned around and went through security way, and Lisa started dying laughing, and I felt about 2 inches tall. She was like, "You just got negged by Hugh Grant." It was fucking rough, but it was worth it for the story of how he made fun of me. And Lisa just loved it.
Oh, that's pretty
But
great.
I went the very next day and bought like a nice. I was like never. I bought a nice fitted black suit, a penguin suit. It was made by the company Penguin. I'm never showing up to one of these looking different at all. My goal is to blend as much as I can. I want no one to see me or know me.
Yeah, that's an amazing story, though. You know what? Hugh can't wear an outfit like you can, so.
Yeah, I mean, could Hugh wear such ridiculous?
I mean, I couldn't see him in that top at all. No.
He couldn't pull this off.
He couldn't pull it off.
No.
No. Well.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. So I'm so interested too. I mean, obviously we know you're working from home. You have a 4-year-old. What has changed in your life since quarantine? And also your wife is in animation. I don't know if that's a secret.
No.
But are you guys working side by side? How's
We were
set up?
Side by side. But then we had to, she went and converted a extra bedroom into an office because it was just kind of rough because our son always had access to us.
Yeah. I feel you on that.
Yeah, the door is just a big thing, just to have the door closed. And my wife wants to always put forth like a very professional image of herself on all of her Zooms and stuff. Like, I'm a director on this show and I got this. Like, everything's going perfect for me. I cared less. I didn't care as much. Like if my son ran up in the middle of this, that's just the situation. Like I'm working hard. I'm working from home, and my son is going to run up every once in a while and say, I mean, he's a hilarious kid. He runs up. He kind of comes up and there'll be a lull in the meeting. He runs up, says some hilarious shit, like my invisible friend Lightbulb the octopus always says, try again, and then he just runs away. I mean, how are you going to beat that?
Maybe he needs his own animated series.
Yeah, I was thinking of making a cartoon of him and my dog Olive. You've seen my dog Olive, right, Alicyn?
No, I never have. I haven't yet. Can Olive make a cameo right now on the show?
He's asleep on the couch. Bam!
La la la. Hey, Spaceman. Hey, Sarah. It's so good to see some of you guys. For anybody that's just tuning in, I'm not just talking to a bookshelf tonight, I swear. This is Mike Hollingsworth, and this is his dog. Hi. Hi.
This is Olive. She's our coworker.
Olive.
This is a hackneyed joke at this time, but they say this is a big national tragedy, all this pandemic and having to stay at home for us humans. But for little doggies, this has been like the greatest thing that's ever happened to them. You'll pet and rub our bellies all day. You're available to us for us to bake.
Yeah. My cat too. I think he's like,
meow, 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 meow. This is so great.
I do have to say, Alicyn, I have been getting a lot of compliments lately on my my ability to do cat sound effects.
Let's hear it.
Are you
What are
ready?
you waiting for? Yeah.
What do you think? As a
Really good. Yeah, totally solid. Totally solid. Oh my goodness, there's so many mosquitoes out here. If you guys are just wondering why I'm just keep shifting around. Ah! So crazy. Remember when there was no mosquitoes in Los Angeles a few years ago? Now we have hordes.
I got hit really bad today. I was just sitting here working. I'm wearing pants even though I'm inside because of mosquitoes. But then,
Oh no.
and then I just was like, my foot itches, and I go to look down there. I pull my chair back, and I see a mosquito come out from under my desk, and the mosquito is eating my foot. The whole
Yeah. Ooh, they are brutal. But anyways, for anybody that's just tuning in, we're with Mike Hollingsworth. Mike, I'm also curious now, how did you get your start in animation? There may be people out there that are looking to break into animation. Maybe I know you didn't go to college, and you were doing stand-up comedy, but how did you get from here to there?
Yeah, that is. I had a super atypical way of getting into animation, but it's very weird. There is no one way. I mean, the best way to get into animation is to go to Cal Arts or SBA or Ringling or what else? Yeah. No, yeah, maybe SCAD or that one in camp. I forget what it is. But
Pretty
yeah,
much rated them all.
yeah. If you go to those schools, you definitely build a. It's great because you just kind of go there and build a network of people who will become your colleagues in the next few years. You just build a, because like getting these jobs and keeping these jobs are all about social structure and kind of like, at least I found it is like just being very keyed in socially and kind of being a part of the community and everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
the way I got the BoJack job, I did not go to college for animation, but I was doing stand up and I just started like at the beginning of the web of YouTube. I just started making YouTube cartoons, and there was this website, Newgrounds, which was like where a ton of people were making cartoons. And I was making these cartoons, and I started submitting them to festivals. The very first cartoon I made, I submitted around, and I ended up getting it into the HBO Aspen Comedy Festival.
Oh my gosh, that's
Anna-
amazing.
in Annecy in France, like the biggest animation festival. And so I was like, shit.
Where can we see that?
It's called the Mustache Contest.
A mustache contest. Okay. I've
yeah.
never seen it.
It's a cartoon I made a long time ago. And through doing that, I would go to the festivals and I would meet so many other animators and filmmakers at these film festivals. And just really started building a social structure out of that. That was like my college, going to film festivals and doing film festivals. And from doing those, I met a young lady, Caroline Foley, who was a terrific filmmaker, really funny animator. And just was chatting her up and getting to know her. And then when they were looking for somebody to direct the pilot of BoJack, they were looking for somebody who had a good comedic sensibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, there's this guy, Mike Hollingsworth, who I met at Animation Block Party in New York. And then they brought me in, and I ended up getting hired from the festival connection. And
that's amazing.
When Raphael, the creator of BoJack, when I mentioned I think maybe he'd met some other folks, and I just started talking about how I had knew mutual people and had done stand up for a decade. He's like, you do stand up? I was like, yeah, I've done stand up. He's like, stand up comedy? I was like, yeah. And you're in animation? And I was like, yeah, I'm an animator, but I do stand up comedy. He's like, on a stage? And I'm like, yeah, I go up on stage. And he was like, this doesn't make sense to me at all, how those two things, like, because animators are all mostly like inside kids who are real dodgy with eye contact, to be able to kind of like work a room. I mean, a stand-up comedy club is not very different than an editorial room. Like, there's an audience in there, and it's and the creators and the producers and stuff, and it can get pretty awkward and rough in that room, and you got to bring that room back around. And that was, I remember the line producer pulled me aside after season 1 and was like, you are great in that room. Like, you saved the show by being light on your feet in that room, because that first season was fucking rough. We were the third or fourth Netflix show, and we had to, when they greenlit us, they said, you're greenlit if you could have this show done in 6 months. And it hadn't even a writer's room hadn't even been brought together yet.
Wow.
So we had 12 half-hour episodes that we had to make in 6 months, soup to nuts, the whole thing done.
That's
And
crazy.
when you make a deal, that's like a deal with the devil. And when you make a deal with the devil, you're gonna have to throw bodies at that thing. And by that I mean people are gonna get fired in the process. Like I remember the the production manager on the first day came up to me and he said, on the very first day of production, he says, Mike, I just want to tell you that it's been a pleasure working with you on Trip Tank. But I do not think our friendship will survive this process. But I just want to let you know that I mean it's not because I don't think you're a nice gentleman, but it's just that's the situation we're in. And he was right. Our friendship did not survive that process.
He is not watching the show right now.
But one of my greatest achievements, I think, is that I did keep it light, and no one got fired. We did not.
Nobody?
Did not throw bodies at that problem.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I protected everybody by being a court jester who could draw. And
I mean, yeah, so you started as an animator, but in terms of drawing, I mean, that was just a hobby, a passion, something that you love to do? I need some bug spray. I'll be right back.
I both love to draw. I'm a very big, my brother and I were always huge cartoon fans. We love Tex Avery, Chuck Jones, Jim Henson. So we were always drawing and creating. But then I also really love Saturday Night Live and the Daily Show and Kids in the Hall and everything. And so I was and stand-up comedy.
It's kind of the perfect fit for you. A show like BoJack just fits you so good to.
But my favorite show I think I ever worked on was a show I worked on with Alicyn, the Mr. Men.
Yeah, that was how we first met.
Yeah, that was a show that I was a director on so many years ago, and I have to say that was one of the best jobs I ever had because the characters were all circles and squares. It was very easy to. It was not easy, but it helped a lot in the storyboarding that all the characters were just shapes.
Right. Yeah. So that made your job easier?
That anatomical stuff.
But you weren't were you boarding on that show, or you were animator, director, animator?
Okay. And it was really fun because it was like a little sketch show. And the characters were all like little sketch players.
Yeah, Kate Boudelaire and Eric Casimiro created that show.
Yeah.
Well, actually, let's see. We have a question from the audience. Would you like to take it? From Get Lost with Lee. Who's been your favorite character to animate?
My favorite character to animate? I did enjoy boarding a lot on the Mr. Men show.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. I mean, I really loved it. I mean, we had so much fun making Tuca and Bertie.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. But Tuca and Bertie was really a big flex for all of us on our cartooning ability, our animation ability, because that cartoon is Tex Avery meets adult animation. It was all the themes of a contemporary adult show just mashed up with all of the zaniness and insanity of a Fleischer cartoon or of a Tex Avery cartoon. We just had so much fun doing that, and we did it ourselves. Like we had a terrific overseas studio, but we plussed the hell out of that animation on the back end. So Tuca and Bertie. I'm very proud of what we did on that show.
I love that show. It's like just so fun. Well, that's exciting that they're coming back for season 2 on Adult Swim.
I'm really looking forward to it because
I'm excited for that.
But I'm excited about it because it means that season 1 will be on Adult Swim too, and just gives a wider audience to all of that great work we did in that season 1.
And maybe more checks.
Maybe, yeah, I did voices on Tuca and Bertie too. I did old.
JKS Drum says Tuca and Bertie is such a unique and important show. Oh my God. I agree.
It was.
I agree. That's great. That's great news. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah,
you heard it here first, guys.
It was one of the only shows ever run by a female showrunner. I think the only other one was maybe Dark.
You mean animated?
Yes, only animated.
Okay. Definitely not ever.
Daria or something.
Oh wow!
That long ago.
And now we're seeing that shift for sure in big ways.
Loved working on it. Like I was the supervisor of it, and there were jokes in there. There was an episode where the whole B storyline was about Birdie sharing her porn. Her and her boyfriend were sharing the kind of porn they were into with each other, and he was into more porny porn, and she was into those British dramas like Downton Abbey. That was turned her on, and I was supervising it, and I was like, I don't really get this. Like this, I don't see why. Like, it seems belabored. We keep returning to this, and it's not. It just seems like the same beat over and over again. And then we screened the animatic with the whole crew, which was more than half female, and they were cracking up at those jokes. It really hit with them, and I was like, oh, you know what I didn't realize? These jokes aren't for me. These jokes are for these ladies. Like, I didn't get it because
ladies?
I'm a 40-year-old straight white man, and the joke is going to be for me. And I was like, this is fucking awesome that there's a show. Because, I mean, if you Family Guy, Simpsons, all the jokes are for basically like for white men, white men writing white men. And if somebody else happens to enjoy it, that's great too. But this was a show where all the jokes weren't for straight white men. There were jokes for ladies, jokes for
ladies,
for gay people, and it was refreshing to be involved with that, and to help it be made and to watch it.
Yeah. Well, I love Tuca and Bertie, so that's great to hear it's coming back on Adult Swim. I am literally getting eaten alive out here, so I think that it's time to wrap up the interview so that I have less than 37 mosquito bites, which
suffer.
What do you think? Suffer for art?
Yeah, you gotta suffer for your art every once in a while.
Oh, I'm suffering. Just putting it out there. But does anybody else have any more questions for Mike Hollingsworth before we go? If you guys want to check out next week, I'm interviewing Pat Brady, who is an animation voiceover agent at CESD Talent, and she's going to be coming in and joining us and talking all about the world of casting and what it looks like from that side of the table. So awesome, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you for
what was the term that you used about somebody that you were saying how you managed to get your animated voiceover credits? What did you do? What was your word there?
A grifter, a cat,
grifter,
and a bounder, a villain.
Yes. You guys, everybody gets extra credit if they can use grifter in a sentence this week, and I want to hear I want to hear how you used it. So hopefully you'll subscribe and yeah, definitely. Good luck on Saturday. We hope you win the Emmy.
Kindly.
Although
Thank you.
this would be the one year where there's like no fun after party too. So that's a bit of a bummer, but
I pretty much got into show business for the free champagne. It's not fair.
yeah,
Where's my?
maybe you could have you could have the champagne anyway.
I know. Pay for
Actually,
it.
you could have a lot of champagne during the show.
Yeah, that I'll have to buy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
need champagne.
Well, if you're willing to give out your address on this program, maybe people will want to send you a free bottle of champagne.
It's 123 Fake Street.
Okay, get that down.
All right.
Okay, Mike, it was so good chatting with you. Thank you so much, and good luck on Saturday. Bye, guys. Thanks again, and we hope you tune in next week, guys. Okay, bye.